For almost 2,000 years, the galaxy believed one thing about humans. They were peaceful. They were quiet. They avoided war at all cost. Humans traded food, medicine, and simple machines. They helped rebuild broken worlds. They never joined conflicts. When wars happened between alien empires, humans stayed silent and neutral. Because of this, the galaxy slowly forgot something very important. Humans were not weak. They were restrained. On a calm blue morning, Earth looked normal. Cities were alive. Children were going to school. Parents were working. No alarms were ringing. No danger was expected. Then the sky changed. Huge metallic shapes appeared above Earth's atmosphere. They were not human ships. They were massive, dark, and covered in alien symbols. People stopped walking. Cars stopped moving. Children looked up in fear. The Galactic Empire had arrived. No warning was given. No message of peace. The ships simply hovered above the planet like silent gods. Then beams of light fell from the sky, not on buildings. Not on soldiers, but on children. Schools vanished first. Playgrounds disappeared next. Homes, where babies slept, were pulled into the air. Mothers screamed. Fathers ran helplessly. Human weapons did nothing. The ships ignored all defense systems, as if they were toys. Within minutes, thousands of human children were gone. Then, finally, the Empire spoke. A cold voice echoed across the planet through every screen and speaker. Humans of Earth, do not resist. Your children have been selected for imperial use. Cooperation will ensure your survival. And just like that, the ships left. Silence followed. Earth had been attacked, but not destroyed. No cities were burned. No armies were crushed. Yet something far worse had happened. Humanity had lost its future. In the days that followed, the galaxy reacted with calm. Some alien races felt pity. Others felt nothing at all. The Empire was powerful, and humans were known to accept loss quietly. That was the biggest mistake. Human leaders gathered, not in public halls, but deep underground. No cameras. No speeches. Just silence and anger. The oldest members of the council sat together. People who remembered stories that were never written in history books. Stories of old. Wars. Stories of extinction level. Battles. Stories humans had sworn to never repeat. One leader finally spoke. They crossed the line. Another replied, "We promised never to return to that path." A third voice, calm but heavy, said, "They took our children." That ended the debate. Across Earth, places that had been sealed for centuries began to open. Hidden factories powered on. Ancient defense systems awakened. Artificial minds that had been sleeping for generations came online. Humanity had hidden its teeth. Now they were being sharpened again, far away. Inside the Galactic Empire, the stolen children were examined like objects. Scientists expected fear, weakness, and easy control. Instead, they found something strange. The children did not break. They cried, yes. They missed home. But when tested, their minds resisted control. When threatened, they stayed silent. When separated, they protected each other. One alien scientist whispered nervously, "These are not weak minds." But the Empire did not listen. They believed humans would protest. They believed humans would beg. They believed humans would accept the loss. As they always had, they did not know that Earth was already changing. On human networks, a single message spread quietly, not to the galaxy, not to enemies, but to humanity itself. Remain calm. We are bringing them home. If you are enjoying this story so far and want to hear how humanity responds to the Empire, you can gently support this channel by subscribing. More parts of this story are coming very soon. In the deepest vault beneath Earth, a final system activated. A system built long ago, locked away by fear and wisdom. Its status changed from dormant to active. And for the first time in 2,000 years, the galaxy unknowingly stood at the edge of a human war. The Empire had taken children. Humanity was about to remind the universe why peace was a choice, not a weakness. The galaxy had a simple belief about humans. They believed humans were soft. They believed humans hated war. They believed humans had forgotten how to fight. For 2,000 years, this belief felt true. Humans did not build massive fleets. They did not expand aggressively. They did not answer insults or threats with violence. When stronger empires pushed them aside, humans stepped back. When planets were stolen, humans signed treaties instead of firing weapons. Because of this, the Galactic Empire laughed when they took the children. They will cry, the Empire said. They will protest, the Empire said. They will do nothing, the Empire believed. But on Earth, nothing felt normal anymore. Cities were quiet. Schools were empty. Playgrounds stood silent. Parents stared at the sky every night, hoping to see ships return. There were no protests, no riots, no angry speeches broadcast to the galaxy. To outsiders, it looked like humans had accepted defeat. In truth, humanity was preparing. Deep beneath mountains and oceans, sealed doors opened for the first time in centuries. Dust-covered machines powered on. Lights blinked to life in halls that had not seen a human in generations. These places were not forgotten. They were hidden. Human engineers worked in silence. No news feeds. No social media. Every action followed strict rules written long ago. This was not panic. This was discipline. One engineer looked at an ancient control panel and whispered, "I never thought we would use this." His commander replied, "Neither did our ancestors. That is why they warned us." In the human archives, records were unlocked, records the galaxy had never seen. They told a different story about humanity, a darker one. Before peace, there was chaos. Before restraint, there was destruction. Humans had once fought wars that burned entire worlds. They had created weapons they later feared. They had nearly erased themselves. When they finally survived, they made a promise. Never again. They dismantled fleets. They buried weapons. They erased their own reputation as warriors. They chose peace, not because they were weak, but because they were afraid of what they could become. Now that promise was breaking. In orbit above a distant star, a small human ship moved quietly. It carried no weapons, no markings. Inside, human observers watched the Empire from afar. They saw the stolen children. They saw the camps. They saw the comps, experiments. They saw the fear. One observer clenched his fists. They treat them like tools. Another answered coldly, "Then the Empire has already lost." Inside the Galactic Empire, leaders grew impatient. Where is the human response? One general asked. "They should be begging by now," said another. Weeks passed. Still nothing. The Empire mistook silence for surrender. That was when the first warning sign appeared. An Imperial supply fleet vanished near a human trade route. No explosion. No distress signal. The ships simply disappeared. Investigators found nothing, no wreckage, no energy trail, no survivors. The Empire dismissed it as an accident. Then a second fleet vanished. Then a third. Whispers spread among Imperial officers. Something was wrong. At a secret meeting, an old alien advisor spoke carefully. "The humans are not reacting the way we expected." The Emperor dismissed him. "They are afraid." The advisor hesitated, then said, "Or they are focused." Back on Earth, the human High Council gathered again. This time, their voices were firm, calm, certain. A woman with gray hair looked around the table. "Have all evacuation routes been prepared?" Yes, came the answer. Civilian shelters? Complete. Fleet readiness? A pause. Then 80% operational. She nodded. Then proceed. A single command spread across human space. Phase 1 confirmed. At that moment, something ancient stirred in human-controlled systems across the stars. Defensive networks realigned. Navigation traps activated. Listening posts began to whisper. The galaxy still saw humans as peaceful traders, but quietly, carefully, humanity was shaping the battlefield. Inside an Imperial research station. One stolen human child looked directly into the eyes of an alien guard. The child did not cry, did not scream. He simply said one sentence, calm and clear, "My people will come." The guard laughed nervously. He should not have. Far away, deep in human command space, a massive screen lit up. A human officer studied the data, then spoke softly. Empire fleets are blind. They just don't know it yet. The officer turned to his team. "Do not rush," he said. "We waited 2,000 years. We can wait a little longer." And as the Galactic Empire continued to underestimate humanity, the truth became unavoidable. Galaxy had believed a lie. Humans were not peaceful. Because they could not fight, humans were peaceful. Because they were choosing not to. That choice was ending. Inside the heart of the Galactic Empire, confidence ruled everything. The Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds. Species stronger than humans had fallen before its fleets. Planets with advanced weapons had been crushed in weeks. Compared to them, humans were seen as simple and emotional. That was why the Empire did not feel fear. The stolen human children were kept in massive research stations far from Earth. These stations floated in dark space, protected by thick armor and elite guards. To the Empire, this was more than enough. The children were called resources. Imperial scientists tested them every day. They scanned their minds, their bodies, their emotions. They wanted to understand why humans adapted so fast and survived so easily on different worlds. But something was wrong. The machines showed strange results. Human minds resisted mental pressure. Emotional stress did not weaken them the way it weakened other species. Even the youngest children showed strong mental walls. One scientist stared at the data in confusion. "They should be broken by now." Another replied, "Increase the pressure." They did. The children still resisted. In one chamber, a group of children sat together. They were scared, but they stayed close. When one cried, another held their hand. When guards shouted, the children stayed silent. An alien guard watched them and felt uneasy. "They are too calm," he muttered. Elsewhere in the Empire, military leaders discussed growing problems. Supply ships were still disappearing. Communication delays were increasing. Navigation systems sometimes gave wrong data, then returned to normal. Small problems. Easy to ignore. The Emperor sat on his throne, listening to reports. "Humans remain silent," a general said. "No fleet movements detected." "Good," the Emperor replied. "They know their place." An old historian stepped forward carefully. He was ancient, his skin marked by time. He had studied the rise and fall of many civilizations. "My Emperor," he said slowly, "there are old records about humans." The Emperor waved a hand. "Outdated myths." "They are not myths," the historian insisted. "Humans once fought wars that shook star systems. They destroyed themselves and survived. Then they chose peace." "Chosen peace is still weakness," the Emperor said coldly. The historian bowed, but fear filled his eyes. Back in human-controlled space, the opposite emotion ruled. Focused. Human commanders studied Empire movements in silence. No cheering, no anger. Every decision was slow and careful. They were not rushing to war. They were building a trap. A young officer asked, "Why don't we attack now? We have the advantage." The commander replied, "Because we want our children alive." Human fleets stayed hidden. They used old stealth systems upgraded with new intelligence. Empire sensors saw nothing. Empire scanners detected empty space, but humans were everywhere. Listening posts intercepted Empire communications. Human AI predicted Empire responses hours before they happened. Every Imperial move was already being answered. Quietly. Inside one research station, a human child was taken to a testing room alone. The lights were bright. Machines surrounded him. An alien scientist leaned forward. "Do you know why you are here?" The child looked up. His voice was steady. "You took me because you thought my people were weak." The scientist smiled. "And are they?" The child paused, then said, "No, they are patient." At that exact moment, far away, a hidden human probe attached itself to the station's outer hull. It did not explode. It did not alert anyone. It listened. It learned. In the Empire's outer sectors, panic finally began to spread. Patrol fleets reported strange shadows on sensors. Energy readings appeared, then vanished. A few Imperial ships lost power for seconds, just seconds, but enough to scare crews. One captain sent a message. "We are being watched." High Command dismissed him. "You are seeing ghosts," they replied. But the ghosts were real. On Earth. The Human High Council watched a live projection of the Empire's research stations. Every corridor, every guard shift, every power system. A council member spoke softly. "We have eyes on the children." Another asked, "Casualty risk?" "Minimal," came the answer. "If we wait." Silence followed. Then the leader said, "We will wait." In the Empire, the old historian stood alone, looking at a star map. He saw patterns forming, patterns that reminded him of ancient disasters. He whispered to himself, "They are not attacking. They are surrounding." Too late. He realized the truth. The Empire had believed humans were harmless. They were wrong. Humans were not preparing for a battle. They were preparing for a rescue. And once that rescue began, the galaxy would understand that taking human children was not an act of strength. For 2,000 years, humanity had lived under one rule: never return to war. That rule was not written in law. It was written in memory, in pain, in the knowledge of what humans had once done to themselves and to others. Entire generations were raised believing peace was the only path. Now, that oath was cracking. On Earth, cities remained quiet, but not weak. Beneath streets and oceans, beneath mountains and ice, old facilities were fully awake. Human factories that once made tools now produced war machines. Not fast, not loud, but perfect. Every bolt was checked. Every system tested. Every weapon restrained. Because this war was not about conquest. It was about children. In one underground command hall, rows of human soldiers stood in silence. Many of them had never fought before. They were engineers, pilots, doctors, farmers. But their faces were calm, focused. A commander walked past them slowly. "You are not trained for glory," he said. "You are not trained for revenge. You were trained to bring them home." No one spoke. They did not need to. Across human space, fleets that had never officially existed moved into position. Their designs were old, but upgraded with modern intelligence. They did not shine. They did not broadcast power. They hid. Human war doctrine had changed since ancient times. No reckless attacks. No emotional strikes. Every move was planned to protect innocent lives, especially the stolen ones. In orbit around a distant Empire station, a human stealth ship drifted like a shadow. Inside, a small team studied live feeds. Guard rotations? Confirmed. one whispered. Power. Nodes mapped. Another replied. Children. Locations locked, came the final report. They did not. Cheer. They waited. Inside the Galactic Empire. Leaders still argued. Reports of strange activity increased. Fleets requested reinforcements. Scientists complained about system failures. The Emperor grew angry. Enough, he said. Prepare a demonstration. A human colony on the edge of Empire space was chosen. It was small, civilian, lightly protected. The message was clear. Fear them. The Empire fleet arrived without warning. The colony's defenses were useless. Buildings burned. Communications died. Thousands of innocent humans were killed. The Empire believed this would force surrender. Instead, it ended restraint. On Earth, news of the destroyed colony reached the Human High Council. No one shouted. No one cried. They simply stood. A woman at the center of the room closed her eyes. They have chosen, she said. A command was given. Phase 2 authorized. Across the stars, human fleets changed posture. Stealth systems remained active, but weapons unlocked. Artificial war mines received new permissions, limited, controlled. Precise. This was not total war. This was punishment. The first human strike was invisible. An Empire fleet near a trade route lost navigation control. Ships drifted. Systems shut down. Then, without warning, human vessels appeared inside their formation. No warning shots. No threats. Only clean, perfect strikes. Imperial warships were disabled in seconds. Engines destroyed. Weapons silenced. Life support untouched. Human ships vanished as quickly as they arrived. Survivors sent panic-filled messages. We were attacked. No enemy detected. They appeared out of nowhere. The galaxy watched in shock. Humans had not attacked civilians. They had not claimed territory. They had not spoken. They had simply removed power. More Empire fleets fell, one by one. Always military targets. Always precise. No survivors killed unnecessarily. Alien observers began to whisper. These are not barbarians. These are professionals. These are soldiers. Inside one Empire research station, alarms suddenly stopped. Lights dimmed. Guards froze as systems went dark. A human voice filled the station calmly. Remain still. You are surrounded. Any harm to the children will be answered immediately. The guards felt fear for the first time. On Earth, the High Council watched the live operation. Data flowed smoothly. Losses were minimal. A council member asked quietly, "Is there still time for them to surrender?" The answer came after a pause. Yes, if they return the children. Inside the Empire capital, the Emperor stared at the reports. His fleets were failing. His scientists were panicking. His people were confused. This is impossible, he whispered. An advisor answered softly. We misunderstood humans. The Emperor clenched his claws. No, he said. We underestimated them. Far from politics and war rooms, inside a dark cell, a human child felt the station shake slightly. A guard ran past in panic. The child smiled for the first time since capture, because somewhere out there, humanity had finally done the one thing it promised. Never to do again. It had gone to war. For power. Not for revenge. But for its children. And the galaxy was about to learn the true cost of breaking human peace. The galaxy did not. Notice the first human strike. That was the most frightening part. There was no declaration of war. No loud message sent across star systems. No fleets marching openly through space. To most civilizations, everything looked normal until imperial power began to disappear. One by one, Key Empire military hubs went silent. Defense stations stopped responding. Long-range scanners failed. Entire sectors lost command control in a single hour. Imperial officers panicked. "We are under attack." One shouted, "By who?" Another demanded, "There is nothing on sensors." Inside a human command ship hidden in deep space, officers watched calmly. Massive screens showed Empire fleets frozen in confusion. Human AI calculated thousands of outcomes every second. A commander gave a short order: begin coordinated strikes. No civilian loss. No child risk. Human ships moved. They did not travel like normal fleets. They slipped through space using old technology combined with new intelligence. They appeared inside Empire formations, where shields were weakest and sensors blind. The attacks were fast, silent, perfect, human. Weapons did not explode ships unless necessary. They cut power, disabled engines, destroyed weapon systems. Imperial warships were left floating, helpless but alive. This was not rage. This was control. Across the galaxy, neutral species watched in disbelief. They had never seen war fought this way. No destruction for show. No terror attacks. Only removal of threat. An alien observer whispered. They fight like surgeons. Inside the Empire capital, chaos spread. Generals argued. Admirals blamed each other. Scientists reported system failures everywhere. The Emperor slammed his claw against the floor. "Find their fleets." He roared. "We can't," a commander replied, shaking. "They vanish before we lock on." The Emperor felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. Fear. Meanwhile, human forces focused on one goal above all others: the children. Every Empire research station holding human children was now surrounded. Human probes fed live data into command centers. Guard movements were tracked. Weapon systems mapped down to the smallest detail. In one such station, Imperial guards suddenly froze as gravity shifted slightly. Lights flickered. Then a calm human voice echoed through the halls. "This station is under human control. Sit down. Do not touch the children." Some guards resisted. They never finished. Human strike teams moved like shadows. Non-lethal force when possible. Lethal when necessary. Every action was measured. Every second mattered. A human soldier reached a holding chamber and opened the door. Inside, children stared back in shock. "It's okay," the soldier said softly. "We're here." Tears fell. Small hands reached out. For the first time since their capture, the children felt safe. But the war was far from over. The Galactic Empire made a final mistake. In desperation, an Imperial fleet attacked another human colony larger this time. Millions of civilians lived there. The Empire hoped fear would stop the humans. The attack began. Before the first missile reached the surface, space itself seemed to shift. Human fleets revealed themselves fully for the first time. Hundreds of ships appeared around the Imperial Armada. Not hidden. Not silent. Visible. The message was clear. Enough. The human commander sent a transmission across all channels. "You will stop. Now." The Imperial Admiral laughed nervously. "You would not dare." The human reply was calm. "We already did." Human weapons fired. This time they did not hold back. Imperial warships were destroyed in seconds. Entire fleets vanished in controlled bursts of light. The battle was short, brutal, final. The galaxy watched in shock. This was not a peaceful species defending itself. This was a sleeping giant awake. Across neutral worlds, emergency councils gathered. Old records were pulled from archives. Forgotten warnings were reread. They were right. One elder said, "Humans were never weak," another whispered. "They were merciful." Inside the Empire capital, the Emperor stared at the tactical display. Red markers vanished faster than they could be replaced. Our fleets are gone, an advisor said quietly. The Emperor's voice shook. Open a channel. The channel connected. A human leader appeared on the screen. Calm, tired, unafraid. You have one choice, the human said. Return every child alive. Now, the Emperor hesitated. What if we refuse? He asked. The human did not raise his voice. Then there will be no empire left to refuse. Silence filled the chamber. Far away, the last group of human children were being evacuated from an empire station. As the transport lifted away, a child looked out at the stars. They came, she whispered. Back on Earth, human cities remained quiet. There were no celebrations, no cheers. Only focus, because humanity was not fighting for victory. Humanity was fighting for family, and the galaxy had finally learned the truth. When humans choose war, they do not fight to win. They fight to end it. The galaxy changed its view of humans in a single week. Before, humans were traitors, helpers, silent neighbors. Now, they were something else. They were the species that broke the Galactic Empire. Across star systems, news spread fast. Imperial fleets destroyed. Command centers gone. Supply lines cut with perfect timing. Not chaotic. Not wild. Clean. Precise. Final. Neutral worlds began to panic. If humans can do this to the Empire, one leader said, what can stop them? Others answered quietly, nothing if we give them a reason. Inside the Galactic Empire, fear replaced pride. Worlds that once shouted loyalty now went silent. Governors fled. Military officers surrendered without orders. Soldiers abandoned ships rather than face human. Fleets. Imperial propaganda failed. Humans are monsters. The broadcasts claimed, but the truth was visible. Humans did not attack civilian worlds. Humans did not burn cities. Humans did not enslave species. They only destroyed threats. That made the fear worse. In one Imperial sector, an entire battle group powered down its weapons and transmitted a single message. We surrender. Please do not fire. Human ships surrounded them. Weapons locked. But no shots came. A human commander replied calmly, stand by. You will be processed. The Imperial officers were shocked. They're letting us leave, one whispered. Yes, another replied, trembling. Because we're no longer dangerous. Inside human command space, the mood was tense but controlled. Screens showed constant updates. Rescue operations were nearly complete. Most of the children were safe, but not all. A final group remained inside the Empire's core system, near the capital itself. Heavy defenses surrounded the area. Ancient weapons protected the heart of the Empire. A young officer asked quietly, should we activate total war? The room fell silent. Total war was humanity's final option. A system designed long ago. It would end the Empire completely, but at a terrible cost. The senior commander shook his head. Not yet, he said. We still have children in there. Humanity would not save its future by destroying it. Inside the Empire capital, the Emperor paced alone. The room felt smaller now. The stars outside no longer felt safe. An advisor entered, shaking. More systems have declared independence, he said. They fear the humans more than us. The Emperor whispered, we were gods. The advisor answered, no, my Emperor. We only believed we were. On a hidden channel, alien leaders contacted human command. One by one, species that once followed the Empire asked the same question. What do you want? The human answer was always the same. Our children. And peace. Some species offered help. Others offered information. Many simply stayed out of the way. No one wanted to stand between humans and their children. In the Empire's core system. Human fleets formed a silent wall. For the first time, they did not hide. They wanted the Empire to see them. Thousands of ships, different designs, old and new, all waiting. A final transmission was sent. "This is your last chance," the human leader said. "Return the children. Stand down your weapons." Inside the Empire capital, alarms screamed. Defensive systems struggled to lock targets. Human countermeasures flooded every network. The Emperor sat heavily on his throne. "We cannot win," he admitted. A general snarled. "We still have weapons." The Emperor looked at him. "And what will you aim them at? Their fleets? Their fleets? Their worlds? Their children?" The general fell silent at that moment. Inside the final holding facility, human children felt the station shake. Lights flickered. Guards dropped their weapons and ran. A small girl held another child's hand. "They're close," she said. Outside, human strike teams breached the station. This time, there was no resistance. The Empire had already lost its will to fight. A human soldier opened the final door. "Mission complete," he said softly. Transports filled with rescued children moved away from the Empire capital. Human fleets closed around them like a shield. Across the galaxy, everyone watched. The Emperor sent one final message: "We surrender." The reply came quickly. "Good," the human leader said. "Stay still." Human fleets did not cheer. They did not chase fleeing ships. They held position, because this war was ending the way humans wanted, not with extinction. With understanding. As the last child left Imperial space, the Human High Council gathered once more. A member asked the question that now mattered most: "What happens to the Empire?" The leader answered slowly: "That depends on what they teach the galaxy next." Far away, alien civilizations recorded the moment carefully. They would teach their children one lesson above all others: humans will live in peace, humans will trade, humans will forgive. But if you ever take a human child, the stars themselves may turn against you. The war ended without celebration. There were no victory parades on Earth, no songs, no loud speeches sent across the stars. Human cities remained calm and quiet, just as they had been before the war. But the galaxy knew everything had changed. Human fleets escorted the final transports home. Inside them, thousands of children slept for the first time in weeks without fear. Doctors checked them. Soldiers stood guard. Parents waited on Earth, watching the sky every night. When the first transport entered Earth's atmosphere, millions of people gathered in silence. The ships landed. Doors opened. Children stepped out. Some ran. Some cried. Some stood still, unsure if it was real. Then parents rushed forward. Families reunited. Tears fell freely. Strong soldiers turned away, so no one would see their faces. Humanity had its children back. Only then did the tension truly leave Earth. Far away. In the ruins of the Galactic Empire's command space, the Emperor waited. His empire was broken. Not destroyed, but powerless. Fleets were gone. Authority was shattered. Worlds that once obeyed now stood independent. Human representatives arrived, not with weapons raised, but with guards and records. The Emperor looked older now. "You could have erased us," he said quietly. "Why didn't you?" The human leader answered calmly: "Because that was never the goal." The Emperor lowered his head. "Then what was?" The answer was simple: to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. Across the stars, human fleets withdrew. One by one, they vanished back into hidden space. Defensive systems shut down. War factories powered off. Ancient weapons were sealed. Again, humanity did not take territory. Humanity did not demand tribute. Humanity did not rule. They left behind something far stronger than fear. Warning. Humanity released a single message to the galaxy. It was not long. It was not emotional. It was recorded in calm, clear language and translated into every known tongue. We seek peace. We will trade. We will help rebuild what was damaged. But understand this clearly. Do not take our children. Do not threaten our future. We ended this war once. We will not hesitate to do so again. The message spread faster than any fleet. On distant worlds, alien leaders gathered their people. Old records were rewritten. New rules were formed. Military academies added a new lesson to their teachings. Humanity is peaceful by choice. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Schools reopened. Parks filled with laughter again. Children who had been taken told stories of darkness and of rescue. They spoke of quiet, soldiers, of calm voices. Of a promise kept. In one classroom, a teacher asked a child, "Were you scared?" The child nodded, then said, "But I knew they would come." Who? The teacher asked, "My people." In the deep archives of alien civilizations, historians wrote carefully about the war. They did not call it a conquest. They did not call it an invasion. They named it the human response. They noted something unusual. Humanity had won without becoming what it feared most. They broke their oath of peace, but only enough to protect it. That balance frightened the galaxy more than destruction ever could. Years passed. The Galactic Empire never returned to power. Its worlds formed councils. Its military was dismantled. Its name became a warning spoken in low voices. Humanity faded back into the background of galactic politics. They traded again, helped again, smiled again. To some, it looked like nothing had changed, but the galaxy remembered. Every species remembered the same truth. Humans will forgive insults. Humans will endure loss. Humans will choose peace again and again. But there is one line in the universe that must never be crossed. If you take a human child, you do not face an army. You do not face a fleet. You face an entire species once chose. Peace and can choose war again. And that is the price the Galactic Empire paid. The war ended without celebration. Across human space, there were no victory parades, no loud speeches, no songs of triumph. When the last transport carrying rescued children entered Earth's orbit, the planet did not cheer. It exhaled. Families waited in silence. Parents stood with shaking hands. When the ships landed and the doors opened, the world seemed to stop. Children ran into waiting arms. Mothers fell to their knees. Fathers cried openly. For humanity. This was not a military success. This was everything. Doctors checked the children. Counselors stayed close. Soldiers stood at a distance, watching quietly. Many of them had fought without knowing the faces they were saving. Now they did. On Earth, the Human High Council met for the final time since the war began. Their faces showed exhaustion, relief, and something deeper resolve. The Empire has surrendered. One member said, "They ask for mercy." Another added. Silence followed. A council elder spoke slowly. Mercy is not the same as forgetting. The Galactic Empire was no longer an empire. Its fleets were gone. Its control broken. Worlds once ruled by fear now governed themselves. The Emperor was alive, but powerless. A human delegation arrived at the former imperial capital. No weapons raised. No threats spoken. The Emperor stood before them, smaller than history had painted him. "You could have destroyed us," he said. "Yes," the human leader replied. "But that was never the goal. Then why stop?" The Emperor asked. The answer was simple. Because we wanted our children back. Nothing more. The Empire was judged, not erased. Its war systems were dismantled. its leaders removed from power. The galaxy watched closely as humans made a choice no one expected. They ended the war. On 100 worlds, alien leaders spoke to their people. Learn from this, they said. Humans are not conquerors, but they are not prey. Old galactic records were rewritten. New warnings added. Humanity was reclassified not as peaceful, not as aggressive, but as protective. Back on Earth, life slowly returned. Schools reopened. Playgrounds filled with laughter again. The scars remained, but they did not rule the future. One evening, a human commander stood alone, watching the sky. A junior officer approached. "Do you think they will remember?" The officer asked. The commander nodded. "They will teach their children? And ours?" The officer asked. The commander smiled softly. "Ours will learn why peace matters, and why it must be defended." Far away, in the halls of a neutral alien academy, young students studied the war. They asked their teachers why humans were so feared now. The teacher answered carefully. Because humans showed restraint when they had power, and when they lost it? A student asked. The teacher paused. They showed resolve. The final human message to the galaxy was short. It was broadcast once and never repeated. We want peace. We will trade. We will help rebuild. But let this be known forever. Do not take our children. Do not test our restraint. Because peace is our choice, not our weakness. After that, humanity returned to the shadows. Fleets were hidden again. Weapons locked away. The galaxy slowly breathed easier, but no one forgot. Not the empire that fell, not the worlds that watched. Not the stars that went silent. The lesson was clear and eternal. Humanity does not seek war. Humanity does not desire power. But if you ever force their hand, if you ever threaten their future, they will rise. They will unite. And they will end the threat completely. Because some species fight for territory. Some fight for pride. Humans fight for family. And that is why the galaxy will never make the same mistake again.